It is my genuine pleasure to introduce you to the first speaker, Tom MURICKAN.
Good morning, everyone. Before I begin, I'd just like to take a quick moment to thank the Wellness Center for putting this event together and supporting the speakers from the very beginning. Quick round of applause. So when I first heard the chance to do a TED Talk in front of the entire school, I was equal parts nervous and excited. I knew this would be an amazing opportunity to present to so many students on a topic I knew was worthwhile, wellness. So I got to writing, and what I quickly realized was that coming up with an entire talk based on such a simple concept as wellness was much harder than I thought it was going to be. For a while, I was uninspired, scrapping several presentation ideas, including reducing stress, taking a break from social media, developing proper study habits, and many more. And all throughout, I was becoming increasingly frustrated with what seemed to be a lack of topics that I would truly enjoy presenting. And it was while I was working late at night, like most of us here at Denver High, that it finally came to me. All the topics that I was scrapping had some relevance to what I'm going through in my life, what all of us are going through in each of our daily lives. Something that some people would like to call the high school experience. Now, a lot of us may know what the college experience is, something that, while different for every person, is generally associated with interesting classes, even more interesting professors, freedom from home life and parents, more social time with friends, and of course, the parties. Now, this is something that most of us look forward to in the future. One of the many reasons we want to graduate as quickly as possible, because for a lot of us, the high school experience is generally associated with tough or boring classes, crazy teachers, a constant torturous cycle of homework, quizzes, tests, and of course, group projects. Now, don't get me wrong, our high school years can be fun and memorable. Our rallies are always a blast, and so are our sporting events. Some of the strongest bonds we make are with the various teammates we have in the sports we play, music or arts programs we take part in, or the clubs that we lead. And the dances are always amazing experiences. My friends love telling me how much I missed out on homecoming this year, and last year, and the year before that. But I digress. But I would generally assume that most of us don't really look forward to getting up early in the morning 5 days a week to go spend 7 or more hours of our day at school. And so overall, while high school may be a fond memory to look back on, it apparently doesn't quite measure up to the years we'll spend in a college or university. And to support this, I did a survey of 30 family members and friends, asking whether they enjoyed high school or college more. The final verdict? All but one enjoyed their college experience more than their high school experience. But I'm here to argue that this doesn't have to be the case. Sure, high school and college are two completely different institutions, and each are going to have their natural differences that contribute to people's memories and perception of their time spent there. But I believe the high school experience can be made into something just as memorable as one's college experience, if not better. See, the college experience is not just something that presents itself to every individual. Rather, it's something that is created and enhanced by each person, by and for themselves, to make the best of their lives. And the same must be done in order to make each of our high school experiences the best it can be. And so I'd like to present sort of my short list on how to make your high school experience a memorable one. Number 1, focus on what's important to you. And this is one of the toughest things to remember in such a competitive environment as Denver High. German-American psychoanalyst Erik Erikson hypothesized that children must master important skills, social and academic, and keep up with their peers. Otherwise, they will feel inferior. With the pressure of getting into choice colleges rising, high school students everywhere are pushing themselves to the limits to earn the highest grades, be the best in their sports teams or arts programs, complete the most volunteering hours, or land the most leadership roles, all in order to create that perfect, immaculate college application. Now, college admissions officers see this as a good thing, for they constantly preach that they're looking for the most well-rounded students. And I know people who push themselves to be the best in everything they do, because that's their passion, and that's amazing. But for the rest of us, if we try to take on that same load, we tend to feel more drained than accomplished. So the first step to improving your high school experience is to focus on what's important to you. And I don't mean ditch school to go to Six Flags or skip studying for tests to watch The Office. As most of our parents will argue, grades are important, but depending on each of our own personal goals and desires, there may be something else that matters more to you. It could be sports, music, dance, drama, photography, cooking, I could go on and on. But whatever it may be, let that be the area you truly strive to excel in or make the most out of. Don't neglect the other areas of your life, especially grades, you're welcome teachers. But don't waste time and energy stressing over the areas of your life that may not matter as much to you. Maintain a balance, and that's how we make the best memories. Number 2, don't dread mistakes. Learn and move on. All of us have experienced failure at some point in our lives, and if you haven't, you're either lying to yourselves or you don't know what the definition of failure is, and you should probably ask your English teachers when you go back to class. Vanessa Loder of Forbes once wrote, "Everyone I know is afraid of failure. It's human nature. When we move outside of our comfort zone, we get scared. Our ego and identity become so wrapped up in what we're doing that when something doesn't go our way, we feel like we're going to die. And it's this sense of dread that discourages us from taking those leaps of faith, following through on those initial goals that we set for ourselves. Yes, it's a cliche, but it really is true. You miss all the shots you never take. And worrying about the consequences of taking those shots and still missing is natural, but it shouldn't consume us. I mean, for example, when you finish studying for a test, don't walk into class the next day and start to feel doubtful of your ability. Rather, be determined that you prepared the best you can. Or when you go into a sporting event, performance, or competition, don't stress about the implications of placing low or losing, but be confident that you'll finish with satisfying results. Be aware of the difference between making mistakes out of choice, like getting into fights or drunk driving, and making mistakes out of coincidence, like not scoring as high as you thought you would on the difficult math test, or blinking out during a Spanish oral. And although the former may have more significantly drastic consequences than the latter, always remember that we're in high school, we're stupid teens, and we're bound to make mistakes. And no matter how big the failure may be, we can always pick ourselves up, brush ourselves off, and keep walking. Number 3, take breaks as needed. It's important to allow yourself a little breathing room periodically throughout these crazy years of your life, as it is past high school and college when you're finally an adult. The thing to remember about taking breaks is setting a time frame. It's important to know what homework, performances, volunteering, or any other obligations you may have on a day-to-day basis, because that determines your schedule. And when you can take that break to go on YouTube and crack open a tub of ice cream, or hang out with your friends for your birthday. And there may be times where you don't have to worry about the daily to-do list as much, like winter and summer breaks, but in general, keep yourself accountable for the amount of time you're spending away from homework to watch Netflix. I recommend Sherlock, Friends, and Stranger Things, by the way. Number 4, be ready to express yourselves. Let's be honest, high school drama is the worst. So many ruined friendships, messy breakups, and social media flames occur during this point in our lives that it's all been relegated to the fact that because we're teenagers and hormones and whatnot. Most experts cite the root cause of high school social conflict to be miscommunication, which may be true, but I believe the bigger culprit to be misexpression. Picture this. Your friend is talking to you about how much they hate so-and-so, because so-and-so always looks like a mess. So-and-so speaks with such an annoying tone, and so-and-so is always so mean to them. And then so-and-so walks right up to you and your friend. Your friend turns around and says, "Hey, oh my God, your hair looks amazing." Sound familiar? Now, obviously this is just the natural way to avoid conflict. Keep your true feelings to yourself and pretend that everything's well. And another example would be if you're out with friends and everyone's voted to go to Cheesecake Factory for dinner, but you'd rather go to Korean barbecue. The natural choice would just be to nod along and go with your friends to Cheesecake Factory for dinner. And while these scenarios may not be that stressful, there comes a point where someone may make a rudely sarcastic comment about your outfit, or call you out on Instagram for always getting Starbucks after school. And that's when things get a little dicey. In these instances, don't think to stay silent and take the remark like a champ. Just say something about it, whether it be through a humorous counter-remark or maybe a stern message. Don't devolve into a shouting match or a comment section flame war, but keep yourself calm and focused on what you need to say and how you need to express yourselves. Beyond your interactions with your friends, expressing yourself is critical when you're taking on any job, internship, or any other leadership role. Figuring out a schedule that works best for you and your employer, or coordinating a project with your fellow officers in the club, all require communication, true. But expressing concerns, input, or positive feedback is what will help build trust with your peers and foster a beneficial position. This will be key to future relationships and network building, and is what will help foster a healthy high school experience. And number 5, create a support system. I kind of got cut off there, but create a support system. These first 4 ways to creating a great high school experience are really only effective if you have someone by your side to see it all through. Because we all need that special someone to help pick us up when we're not feeling all that great about ourselves, or when we didn't do as well as we thought we had on that English essay, or, not to be dramatic, but when we feel like our lives are falling apart. The Ultimate Medical Academy states that it's important to surround yourself with positive and trustworthy people who can walk through your triumphs and struggles with you. They should be encouraging, care about your life goals, and have your best interests at heart. When you have that kind of support system, you'll be more likely to reach your goals and persevere through hardship. For me, my support system consists of my mom, my dad, and my younger brother, George. For you, it may be different, but it's important to keep those people in your support system, whether it be family, friends, or others, close and informed, because these people are always there for you, no matter what happens. There to share your thoughts, there to help you solve your problems, there to help you live the best life you possibly can. I can't tell you how many times I've screwed up on something or the other, and my support system has always pulled through for me, whether it be helping me correct my mistakes or holding me as I cried. Side note, the time I cried was when I lost all my tickets at Chuck E. Cheese. But it's important to keep the people you hold dear and close in that integral support system that'll help you make the most of your years here at Denver High. So before I wrap up, I'd like to briefly share my motivation behind coming up with this short list of mine. Recently, one of my best friends asked me a question that, well, she didn't know it, kind of threw me off guard. She asked me, "How are you so calm about everything and constantly doing great things?" I mean, 1, I'm flattered, but 2, while I may be a calm person in general, and I guess I got a decent score on my SAT, I mean, I get stressed out. Stress is natural. I've gotten terrible test scores. I'm talking D's and F's. I've missed opportunities that I kicked myself for not seeing earlier. I've failed to achieve quite a couple of goals of mine in the past few years. I've lost friends, and that really sucks. But throughout all these low points, I've always tried to keep my mind on the positives and focus on making my high school experience the best one it could be. And the short list is something that helped me, but it's really just a guideline, because everyone is going to have different ways of creating their ideal high school experience, different short lists. So I told my friend all this, and she replied saying, "You know what you're doing with your life. You have it all figured out." But the truth is, I really don't have it all figured out. I know what I'm doing with my life as of right now. All of us do. I'm giving a TED Talk. You all are either listening or sleeping. But hardly any of us have it all figured out. And that's what high school is. That transition from childhood to being an adult, where 4 years of your life may fly by and you still may have no idea what you're going to do later in life. And that's okay. Because high school is all about growing up, if you will, and making the most of your life while you're at it. Thank you.